John, I'm told by the administrator that you got into some problems in the lunchroom.
What do I gotta talk to you for? I got 5 days in-house suspension, a disorderly conduct ticket. Let me just go home. I don't need this shit.
You're still pretty angry about it. Why don't you take a moment and calm yourself?
I told you I don't need to talk to nobody. What do you want from me?
I want to try to understand the situation so we can work on it together. What happened is not going to go away, so let's talk about it and see what we can do.
See what we can do? See what we can do like what?
Well, what we ultimately decide to do, I'll leave up to you. But for right now, it'll be helpful if you tell me about what happened, sort of step by step.
I thought they told you what happened.
I'd like to hear it from you. When did the problem occur?
During second lunch.
Where were you sitting?
The table near the salad bar where we always sit.
We? Who was there with you?
Same as always. Me, Rizzo, Jeremy, Walters, PJ, a couple other guys.
Tell me when the troubles began.
We were eating, right? Just having a good time, laughing and shit. When somebody put some ketchup on a French fry and flips it at Jennifer Franklin. She's sitting at the next table and it lands in her hair.
Somebody?
It wasn't me. You all think it was me.
Okay. What happened then?
So Mr. Parker comes over and starts giving me shit, saying he saw me throw it at her, and I'm like, fuck you! I didn't throw no French fry. And he's like, come with me. And I'm like, I ain't going nowhere with you. And then he gets on his walkie-talkie and calls security.
So he's calling security on his walkie-talkie. Tell me what happened next.
I stood up and I was like, look, I didn't do it, man. And he's already got his detention book out writing me up.
And then?
I got pissed.
You're still pissed.
I got a right to be. I didn't do shit, man. And he's like...
Take a moment. Okay. So now you're standing up next to the lunch table with Mr. Parker. What happened then?
I shoved his ass into the salad bar and the security goons like jump on me. That's what happened.
Was Mr. Parker hurt?
Who gives a shit?
Okay. When Mr. Parker first accused you, how did that make you feel?
How did that make me feel? I told you, pissed off.
That all? Just pissed off?
It's embarrassing to have the whole lunchroom looking at you like that.
So Mr. Parker is singling you out for something you didn't do, and you're pissed off, and you're embarrassed.
Shit, yeah.
There he is, pointing at you. What thoughts are going through your head?
He's a fucking liar.
Hey, somebody lies about you, you get angry. What else were you thinking?
Everybody's looking at me, laughing.
So you believe you're being treated unfairly in front of everybody, and you get angry and embarrassed. That about right?
Yeah. It's like I knew I was gonna get in trouble even though I didn't do nothing.
Here it comes again, right?
Every day.
So this has happened before, where you got blamed for something you didn't do?
Man, teachers have been looking for me since the 7th grade. I'm about ready to say fuck it.
Well, maybe you and I can do something to keep that from happening.
Sure.
Let me try to sort of paint a picture of what happened, and you tell me if I got the facts straight. You were having lunch with your friends at the table near the salad bar when somebody, not you, threw a ketchup-laden French fry at a girl seated nearby. Correct so far?
Yeah.
Mr. Parker then came over to your table and accused you of throwing the fry. When he did this, you thought to yourself that you were going to get in trouble again for something that you didn't do, yes?
Yeah.
Believing that was about to happen, you got yourself really pissed. And when Mr. Parker asked you to get up, you chose to stay seated. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Except he didn't ask me. He told me to get up like he was my dad or something.
Okay. Told you. You chose not to. Mr. Parker then got on his walkie-talkie and called security. As he was doing this, you decided to stand up. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You're standing there telling yourself this is not fair, that you're being singled out in front of all your friends again. How angry were you then, say on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being furious?
15.
Okay, so you were really furious. Because here comes another incident in which the teachers are going to blame you for something that you didn't do, and they're always doing that, and that's not fair. So you chose to... Did I get it all correct?
I guess.
John, the anger that you're feeling makes perfect sense to me. There you were in a difficult situation that your experience told you was going to turn out badly for you. You believed that you were being treated unfairly, again, and you just let your anger take over.
Am I still suspended?
Probably so. We can't undo the choices that you made in that lunchroom. But I am very pleased that you had the courage to share your feelings and thoughts about what happened. That willingness to share is an important first step if we're going to work together. I think you have some pretty mature insight into what gets you angry. Can we talk about that a little more?
I guess.
Let's talk about Mr. Parker for a minute. When he came to your table, what do you suppose he was thinking?
I don't know, maybe that a food fight was gonna start? We had a real big one last year, it was so cool.
I know about that. So you think Mr. Parker was concerned that the French fry incident might get out of hand?
Maybe it was.
So if, say, you were Mr. Parker, you might have done the same thing?
I wouldn't have blamed the wrong guy.
Right. Could we say that was a mistake by Mr. Parker?
Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Fair enough. When he saw the French fry in the girl's hair and saw you guys laughing, how do you suppose he felt? Angry, nervous, amused?
Probably both nervous and angry.
Because...
There might be a food fight?
So Mr. Parker was nervous and angry, and he had to do something. Is that correct?
I guess. It's a stupid job.
Do you think it's possible that in the course of doing his job, Mr. Parker may have believed that it was you he saw throw the French fry?
He could have asked me.
I agree. So he came over to your table and he told you straight out what he believed. John, I saw you throw the French fry. And you know that's a mistaken belief, correct?
Yeah.
And then we both know what happened after that. Let's think about what Mr. Parker did. Rather than call security and write you up a detention slip, what would you have rather he done instead?
I don't know. Just tell us to be cool and finish lunch.
Okay. I'm Mr. Parker, and I walk over. How do you get me to just sort of blow it off like you want? Tell you to be cool and finish lunch. John, I saw you throw the French fry.
I don't know. I didn't throw the French fry. I'm being honest with you.
I know what I saw.
What am I supposed to do? Admit to something I didn't do? No way.
Anything beside that?
Like what?
Were there other ways to deal with Mr. Parker's mistake without getting yourself in the trouble you're in now? Try to come up with as many as you can think of.
I could have just gone with him to the office, but I didn't do it.
You could have gone with him to the office. What else?
I don't know. Ratted out my friend? I ain't like that.
What else?
Tell him to show me a witness? Shit, that's what I should have done, a witness.
You just came up with 3 other choices you could have made. Go along with him to the office, identify the true culprit, or ask for a witness, each of which would not have you in the trouble that you're in now.
So?
John, what gets in the way of you making better decisions at times like those?
I guess I was too pissed to think straight. It's easy just sitting here.
So what I hear you saying is, when you're really angry, it's hard for you to think of better options.
It was today.
Do you know when you're getting angry, or does it just happen?
Never really thought about it before.
When you're getting angry, where do you feel it in your body?
I don't know, maybe here. Here?
Okay, so possibly the feeling in your chest and on the back of your neck is a kind of a, I don't know, let's call it a warning signal that you're starting to get really angry.
I don't know. Maybe. I guess.
John, you seem to have what I like to call personal street smarts. You can pick up on subtle cues ahead of time. Not everybody can do that.
It's not that hard.
Do you think this ability could be useful to you?
Like what?
Well, if you can read your body warning signals that you're about to get really angry, and you know you have a hard time being in charge when you allow yourself to get that angry, is there something you could do to keep the anger from going out of control?
Depends on what's happening.
Explain what you mean.
Like who's there and what they're trying to do, and if they're really trying to piss me off.
Like you're a character in a video game and they're controlling you?
No, man, nobody controls me.
Well, they're there, and they're trying to piss you off, and you can feel it in your chest and on the back of your neck. Are you still in control?
Sometimes it's really hard.
Like today with Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
Good for you, John. That's called taking responsibility. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing from you is that you know when you're starting to get really angry. And you know that you make poor choices when you're really angry. But sometimes that anger is hard to control. That fair to say?
I guess so, yeah.
So who was responsible for the incident in the lunchroom?
I guess me, but not just me.
Well, we can talk about your so-called friends at another time. I'm wondering if you have some sort of plan for addressing the current problem? How are you going to deal with Mr. Parker?
What do you mean, how am I going to deal with Mr. Parker?
He's a teacher at your high school and you assaulted him. That seem like a problem for you?
Maybe. I guess. Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Think about our conversation up to this point and the insights you've had about yourself. Is there a connection between those insights and any action you may choose to take?
You mean those other things I could have done, like the witness or like losing my temper?
How might your understanding of both of those relate to your current problem with Mr. Parker?
I could tell him that I was so pissed I couldn't think straight.
If you were Mr. Parker, is that what you'd like to hear?
Yeah, I could tell him that.
All right. It's a pretty gutsy move, though. I wonder if you're ready for it.
Why? I can do it.
Oh, I think you can, too. Any concerns about losing your temper with him?
Not as long as he doesn't act like a,
Oh, what if he chooses to act like a, How will you know that you're getting angry again, that you're about to lose it?
I'm street smart, remember?
I remember. So you can use those street smarts to stay in charge, consider your options, and not let Mr. Parker or anyone else control you. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I can try.
John, I'm really impressed with both your willingness to take responsibility and your courage to try to solve this problem. Not a lot of guys could show that, and you deserve credit.
Get me out of in-house suspension?
No, I won't do that. Our choices all come with consequences. But I would like to see you in the next day or so to continue this conversation. How would that be?
You know where to find me.
Yes, I do.